Thank you. Thank you. And I'd like to start today with something that has nothing to do with my speech, but my dad always said to me to say before I did a speech. It kind of breaks the ice and sets the mood. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm here before you to stand behind you to tell you something I know nothing about. This Friday, on Saturday night, there'll be a mother's meeting for fathers only. The admission is free, just pay at the door, pick out a seat, and sit on the floor. With that being said, how to squid hunt with a bow. It is a real sport. It's very fun. How many of you like to hunt? Does anybody hunt in here? Does anybody fish? Does anybody do them in combination? That's basically what squid hunting is. How I got into squid hunting, my great-great-grandfather is on my mother's side, Macaulay Patrick O'Kane. He was in Ireland, and they were out with his buddies, I guess you would call them, one day. They were fishing, and they weren't catching any fish, and they had a bow on board. So they were like, oh, let's try shooting the fish. And they got one, and they decided this is great fun. So they started doing this more and more often. The next generation eventually moved on to bigger fish and eventually squid. Squid was a much bigger challenge because they're a lot faster, and you usually have to do it at yeah, you should go at night because it's easier to see them. And then NASH was founded in their wake after what they had started. NASH is the National Association of Squid Hunting. It's really cool how you squid hunt. This is a boat. This is a bow fishing boat, but it's basically the same for squid hunting. You stand up on the platform with your bow, and you hang over the edge and look in the water, and usually you have a big spotlight shining down in the water, so it shines down, and then you get over with your bow, and you just shoot the squid once you see a little silver flash. The arrowheads for the arrows are pretty sweet. Here's one. You shoot it and it's connected to your fishing rod, or you can have a reel attached to your bow, so then you can reel in the squid when you shoot it. But they have these sharp arrowheads, and then they have these clasps that open when it goes into the squid, so then when you pull it out, it doesn't come out and catches the squid. So those are pretty cool. There's two ways that you can squid hunt. You can either do it from a boat like this, or you can go snorkeling and do it. That's why you would use a wetsuit. So I'm not going to wear it, no, but you go in with a snorkel and with your arrow, and all the arrows are flightless. So when they go through the water, there's as little friction as possible. So they fly through the water really quickly, and you snorkel down and you try to get a squid. It's pretty intense. That's me with my squid up there. It's pretty crazy. That was a 40-pound squid. That was exciting. So what you need to go squid hunting. This guy looks really weird, but that's a wetsuit. That's not me. But so you need a boat. The boat I showed earlier, there's a sailboat up there. You usually want it kind of quiet, but you can turn off the engine, so that doesn't really matter. You obviously want to have a bow with you. You can either use a crossbow, or you can use a crossbow with a bolt, or you can use a longbow. That's what I typically use. But the crossbow, it's easier to pull up quicker and shoot if you see a squid. You want the arrows. The arrows are a lot longer than regular arrows, and they don't have any feathers, so that when you shoot it into the water, there's less friction, and they don't bend as much, so it goes straight through the water. And the string on the end of the arrow, since it doesn't have feathers, when you attach the string to it, it kind of weighs down the back and keeps it flying level in the air. You want some bait. There's chum up there, which is basically just dead fish and shrimp and a whole bunch of stuff just cut up and put in a bucket that you toss into the water to attract the squid. You want a gaff, which is a long pole with a big hook on the end, so when you pull up the squid, you can hook it and pull it into the boat quickly. A wetsuit. You could have a life jacket if you want one, I guess. And you want lights. So I'll draw a picture. So here's your boat, and here's the water. And you have lights shining like this, maybe not that tall, but they shine down. And you toss the bait over the side, so there's all this bait floating around, And at night, the squid come up to the surface layer to feed. So they come up and you wait for a little silver flash. That's all you see, and then you let loose an arrow. And if you get it, you'll know that you got it because they're pretty powerful. And then you just stand there with your arrow and you shoot the squid. And you usually, if you have the reel attached to your bow, you only need one person. But for this setup, you obviously need two, one to hold the bow and one to shoot the arrow, or one to hold the rod, one to shoot the arrow. And then you need patience, because sometimes it takes a really long time for the squid to come up. The procedure, I just described that. Here's a guy bow fishing off the front of a boat in Florida maybe, I don't know. But you just kind of stand over and you wait for a fish, or you wait for a squid if you're squid hunting. And then you start reeling it in, and once you get it close, you hook it with the gaff, which is up there. And then you pull it on, and if you want to keep it to eat, you want to kill it as quickly as you can. So a machete is good for this, because it has a lot of power and you can whack it real quick. You want to hit it right along this line right here. You want to chop it right there, and then right there too, right along the tentacle line. And that will kill it as quickly as possible. Or you can stun it and put it in a fish locker if you want to keep it as a pet for some reason. But my whole family has squid hunted for a while now. My great-great-grandfather started it, and then it just has gone through the generations. It's a great sport. Me and my brother do it. Connor, you guys met him that one day. He's pretty crazy, but it's a fun sport. You guys should definitely try it if you're ever on a boat with a bow and you don't have anything else to do. But how am I doing on time? It's pretty good. All right. Yeah, squid hunting's fun. You guys should try it sometime. It's an exhilarating sport. It's hard. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience. So, thank you.